might as well come up and join us.
Yeah. Join the party.
All right, you're all set?
You guys are gonna.
Order.
Yeah, we're gonna make it permanent. Make it permanent.
Call the meeting order of the Public Building Commission, July 8th, 2021. Those of you who haven't heard yet, we do have new members. So we've got Rocco, Rich Cherry. So no more begging your friends to come on and put an application. Approval of minutes from June 10th. I had Lisa scramble these up quick. I don't know if people got copies or saw them, but I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none. For no's, motion approved. Audience of citizens. Nobody here, okay.
I'd like to make a motion to move the agenda around permanently. I'd like to move the police station into slot 4.
Second that motion.
And then I'd like to take and move
Senior center.
the senior center, number 5.
Okay, seconds agreeable.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those approved, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion approved. Okay, police station. Mike, you want to go first?
Yes. The chief, the last meeting was asked to give I think it was size of the lockers, the number of lockers, and the space required for the expansion of the locker room, and he did. So this has been forwarded to all commissioners. I think that's where it stands. So I don't know exactly what else we do, but anyway.
Do you know if that differed from the original plan that we had laid out in the past for square footage?
I think it's actually, he used the space
Okay.
needs assessment, yeah. So in fact, I talked to him and he said, I basically just looked back at all the work that was done and said that he.
And that was the only question I had for him, is to make sure that works for you. And then we'll
Yeah.
proceed with that.
And I think at the end of his note, he said, should accommodate the anticipated increase in departmental personnel for the next 10 years or so. So, because I said, because he had sent me a draft and I said, well, just, I think for the BBC, are you comfortable that this is gonna, be okay for the next however long? That's it.
So we don't have to leave it to them.
Exactly. So I think he's coming with this. First,
Yeah, I was a little confused with the numbers though, like the square footage that the chief supplied, that was for existing, what we had?
Now,
Because the Jakunski has, 2560, but that included a physical training room in between. So I guess without that, it would be 1680, but that still wasn't. Oh, maybe the chief is saying, so that what we have downstairs is 1121.
Yeah,
Because
because
we need to get up.
yeah, overall, we're looking at only 2,600 square feet, I think, total.
Okay.
For the space required for the new locker room and for the workout room.
Oh, so that's still in the plan as far as
We weren't taking it out.
okay. And I know he had mentioned, I don't know if we can expand off the edge of, I don't know if that's an option. So we need more space.
Footprint of the building.
Yeah.
I would think we try to stay inside the footprint of the building for sure, because then you just get heavy into architecture.
Yeah. The Board of Ed agreed that they moved whatever they had to out of that space for the officers to have locker rooms. So I think we're okay there.
Yeah, but I don't think the existing, it's still proposed, the current location, we're not moving that before that.
Yeah, you are. Well,
Yes, sir.
we'll get it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. That's it, yeah, okay. Yeah, in between.
The storage space right there, they'll relocate all their stuff that's in there somewhere else. I guess the plan is still using that, the old pistol range as the corridor to get down.
Well, I was looking at that. Unless the structure is supported by that wall, which is very possible could be nice to just
Punch
you know,
holes.
punch holes and.
Yeah.
Open it up.
I'm sure we can.
Because, I mean, always leave the door event a little on-site storage, right, in this area. And kind of commandeer the whole area. So they're gonna move stuff, they might as well move everything and just keep the last
Yeah.
5 years of records or something.
So that piece over there would be like locker room where that, and then we'll all be coming home.
We're gonna have to play with the square footage and really understand what we have there.
Yeah.
But that's, we're talking, right now, it's space programming, we call it. There's no design, so we're trying to figure out where the square footage is to get what we need. So like, part of the programming is what we go through right now, where you tell us, you know, we know they're gonna do oversized lockers, we know we're gonna have their cooling in there for the best, the dry, all that stuff. We sort of get all that, and that's already what we're starting to figure into it. So from that point forward, again, it's just plugging in the square foot and make sure that we can find the right space and all that. So we call it programming at this point.
What else do you need from us? Is there anything at this time? or-
Yeah, that should be it for now, we have to get somebody on board.
Okay.
Get a budget.
Well, based on what we did in the past with SVT,
STV.
STV.
Yeah.
We had them do some work, and I think they came up with some schematic layouts originally, and then they had some additional costs that we wanted to engage in further services with them. But not to say that we would or would not, but I know we went down that road, didn't we?
We did, but I think that's when we were comfortable, where we had an outfront and say, design basic, design information from all the work which you. And so the question would be, you know, do we need to do any more design from Jakunski Humes, use their expertise? Because I think that was something even Perry
Yeah,
mentioned last time.
Yeah.
I think that's probably not a bad idea. Let them finish programming the space, and tell them what we have, what we program. and maybe we can move forward with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they did a lot of work. They actually had to process them together as well as the plans, so.
Yeah. They went pretty far as we could go with it at that time. I think, didn't they have in their cost to continue on? Yeah, it's 5 years old.
STV is 2018, Jakunski Humes was 2017. Yeah, 2017. So you got two players in the mix, I guess.
Prices for both of them.
Well, I guess we gotta figure out what we wanna do, right? I don't wanna recreate this, we already went this far, what's the next step from there? That's really the question. How quickly do we wanna move forward with it?
From, if we have to take a step back from with expertise, to me, that's Jakunski Humes.
Yeah.
Before we step forward. And I don't necessarily know that that's a big swing, a big number to move forward. But I don't think the SVP necessarily had the expertise. They certainly have the capabilities to take the vision and fit it into the space.
So why don't we do this? Everyone's agreeing, let's get a hold of Jakunski. Let's tell them what we wanna use for that storage space, and let them start doing the program now. Let's put together the program schematic drawings. SD level.
We got that number.
But I think with their expertise and the background they have,
Well,
I
if
can
you
imagine it's not a big lift. but
First, really, they like, it's probably, yes.
So do you want me to get a proposal?
Yeah.
Should I put together a little mini scope or just explain what we're doing?
I'd give them,
Well, we have this, we have their stuff, and we have what the chiefs put together. And I would even think too that they could vet this too, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think the key is letting them know they have all that storage space.
Right.
It's in there currently.
The,
all of it, really?
Okay.
All of that storage, the Board of Ed is okay with, okay. They may know too, and Doug would know as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
and the other
And
thing
the only other thing we talked about was possible training, right? Someplace for
Yeah.
larger training area.
What we were gonna do, I thought we were gonna relocate the locker room, take the old locker room space and turn that into
Train.
Yeah, they had it in between, I think, the two locker rooms, or the training area. You enter it from the natural.
I meant like a actual.
Oh, the training classroom.
Yeah.
classroom.
My only point on that is that if we certainly make sure that you look at that, looks at that program as another phase, as another phase, so that way if it doesn't, so at least it's planned out, scoped out, and then if we don't accommodate it or complete
Update
it,
the program for the whole building to see how we
at least probably to the next two steps as opposed to doing one step and then another step 2 years from now. We know we might do that, or we're gonna get there, but
Well,
let's
I
start
think-
planning for it.
Well, I think right now it's the whole thing. And then
Oh,
we,
okay.
we as a group will
That's
break
fine.
it up into phases.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then do it a phase a year.
I'm good with that.
So you want them to look at a comprehensive look,
We have
not
to.
just on the locker room, we phase one, but
We-
you want really to continue what they started here.
I think we have to. Okay, wouldn't you say, otherwise you're gonna end up with a mess.
But you want a master plan and then just start knocking them off,
Well, I'm
right?
just gonna pan ourselves.
That's
Just
what
give
we
me
want.
one.
Yeah, it's all piecemeal.
How far away from this area we wanna go with locker rooms, because probably all the plumbing comes right out of there. So probably nothing.
Where's your next mechanical?
Well, the closest would be, like our only facility down here.
You have any, but there's no, if the rest, there's a,
Well,
there's plumbing in the
the
rest.
jail cells, the jail cells, yeah.
Maybe there's,
But that's all, that's all.
Right off the back of that, get the plumbing, but not in the space right now.
yeah, so we want to do, so I guess if there is plumbing, maybe come into this area, but those might just be. It's just something that we have to keep in mind. It's not part of the problem.
I mean, it sort of is what it is.
Just gonna disrupt a lot of area.
I mean, we're really looking at the drains, right, the big thing. Once we get the drains, anywhere we tie into a drain, the closest drains, that's really what we need. The water is overhead anyways.
Which is probably good.
As long as we got a good 6-inch or 8-inch drain.
Are we gonna, is the plan to keep some type of storage for that on site or?
I ran into Adam, and I asked him the question, he said he moved it all out.
Into the high school?
Yeah.
Can you send me this? I like this one.
Yeah, and I have an existing, they're pretty much the same, yeah.
We're getting older and bigger, Mr. Older.
Colors.
The little tiny ones are fun like that.
I know, I like to see that. Do you want a hard copy?
You could just send it, I could plot it myself.
Well, why don't you just take this? Because I just literally plotted this for me, because I'm like, I knew it would be sort of a kind of handy.
So right now, for the scopes that you couldn't see,
I'll send you a PDF too. Okay,
I'll take one too.
okay,
Yeah.
you got it.
I don't need it.
It is real, it's just an image of a real thing. All right, so, it'll be schematic of the entire master plan, and then do you want it cross for going further with the locker room?
Well, I
Or do you
think,
want to go step by step?
I think what we need to do is the master plan. All right, get that straightened out. They need to work with the chief or whoever his designee is, to make sure that they're getting what they want. And let's put all that together.
Okay,
And then from there, and again, it's all schematic based.
right.
That's all we're looking for at this point. And then we'll figure out.
I would say schematic, are you talking about mechanicals too, like MEP, or just
I'm
layout?
starting with some sketching of,
Just the layout.
Okay,
but we gotta guide them so that they're not driving up the cost.
right,
So I think I agree with Jim. I think we stay within the footprint we have, with the exception of all that storage space now. And we push it to whatever makes the most sense. My thought is if we could get the locker rooms and the showers and everything built in that space, so they can keep going here. Once that's done in there, we can move them in there and renovate this place. Would be my,
Bigger offices, conference area.
so
training area.
so what you're saying is, what they're showing here is not the way that they should go, because they were restricted because the storage space was off limits.
Correct.
Now it is, they can look at the whole
Yeah, because that way then we don't overly disrupt the operation of the police department.
Yeah.
You know, or we can still use the shower room, we'll make it a real locker room.
Well, I know there's cost of trouble with through it. They had temporary lockers and showers out in the parking lot.
Yeah, we don't want to,
Yeah.
we don't want to get into
Yeah, with
that.
this space. we
Actually,
should
you're right,
be able to-
yeah, right, so you can continue using the old while you're building the new.
Right, this,
Okay.
And that's why we phase it too.
Yeah,
So phase one would be getting the locker rooms done,
right,
getting the department moved over into the locker rooms and the workout room. And then we can go back in phase two and then
right,
start taking this apart.
okay,
And it could even change, once we get the locker rooms moved, if someone wants to change a few things, we can.
Yeah.
Because we're doing it in phases.
sounds good.
You know, do we have any of the reports, does anyone know any asbestos, lead? Do we have one?
I think so.
I can ask Doug, right?
We checked, yeah, we checked.
Maybe Wisely may have it too. I don't know.
Yeah,
We should have stuff on this line.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
concerned with.
Yeah,
the
no, there
lead.
is some stuff. in there.
This should be just bare concrete here.
Because I'm not, I don't, even if it's a structural wall, those are concrete structural, we can still cut those. Yeah. Sure. them up.
Yeah, because this wall here is just, I think there's whatever, so.
Yeah.
This might not be a bad place to keep that, but it's, you know,
It, like you said, whatever works for them, I'm fine with that.
That's not, I mean, I consider it, I think it's like a flow of large items still. Yeah.
But I think as long as we phase this correctly, I think we go pretty smooth. You know, we keep the costs down. You know, within palatable region, let's say.
but what I can do is get a proposal, send it out, call it a draft, send it out to you guys and you take a look at it, make sure it's,
Yeah.
and then we'll figure out what you want.
Well, I think the idea really now is once they come up with the master conceptual plan, let's say, then as a group, we'll phase it, figure out where the phase marks are. And then from there, we'll budget phase one. We'll hold off on budgeting phase two or three because we don't know what the
Right.
costs are gonna be in 2 years.
Right.
So why waste the time? We could throw numbers at it.
Point out Tom's online now, so. See if,
Mr. Reed, can you hear us?
Tom? Speak. All right. Leadership listening. Okay, moving on to item 5,
Thanks, Chris.
senior center, community center update.
Oh, okay, got shifted around.
Yes.
Did Tom and Victoria get back to you? Okay, I think they're shut down this week. So the only thing that I know, I mean, they've done the 2 outreach sessions at the high school, which I don't know if anyone had it yet. And they have one more planned in, let's see.
what was the attendance?
25, the first one, and 27 or 28, the second.
And then they have another one, yeah, on midday,
Center, 20th.
July 20th, yeah. So, I guess after that, I'm not really sure what they have planned, so we'd have to check with Tom and Victoria. And I know Roche is into getting the subcommittee going. I don't know, I don't think that's, wasn't
They
at the last time.
Discussed it at the last meeting,
Okay.
supposedly at the next meeting, was supposed to approve it.
Oh. Okay, so,
The gap line. And I should tell you, Victoria has left the firm,
oh,
so that may be why she's not responding to you. So if you
Okay.
talk to Tom, you should find out who the other
who the
contact.
next, the second in command is?
Right.
Yeah, it's nice to copy Casey's, otherwise, so that's sort of where it stands right now.
Invoice.
Oh, the invoice. Well, we want to discuss anything else on these,
Should we change it?
no, they're still working through it, so.
Is there any feedbacks to me because the design change?
No, feedback was mostly positive. They kind of focused on the cost of operations, of which the mayor said we don't know yet. And then they started talking politics. How's it gonna get noticed and how people gonna find out? Tom just kind of sat back and smiled. Look at there. So. All right, we also have an invoice from QA&M, invoice 13549 for a sum of $6,375.
Make a motion, we approve.
Here, a second.
Second.
Second. Discussion.
Is there any breakout on it, other than just the pro rata share?
He's got billables for meetings, and they also worked on select the site, no,
Schematic design.
schematic design and cost
Estimates.
estimate. So that must be the cost estimate.
Yeah.
And that's done. So,
Any discussion, further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion approved. All right, let's see here, the 4, 5, 6 is the board education work,
Yes.
the elementary schools.
So CES sent me an email update. Essentially, they're done with the Willard School drawings and specs, 100%. I sent those around earlier today. So
yeah, I did.
I kind of went through them. I saw a couple of things, the dates or whatever, but I didn't go through the specs, the drawings, if they had demo, they would mechanical, they would electrical. So that's pretty much, they're ready to bid whenever, we want to turn over the drawings. The only thing that's missing on those is any of the fryer, any of the outside stuff, the enclosure for the chiller, and inside patchwork. And he also said that, I asked him what would Fryer need to supply to him to, put a full package out. He said basically it's the chiller enclosure, the Division I bidding documents, and then some patching on the walls and ceiling for the, the MVP work.
We have a price from it to go to the next page.
Yeah. Yeah. Fryer sent proposals today, which I forwarded to you as well. Last minute, but it came in. There's might be some duplication, because I'm looking at the Willard School and I'll give you the fees. Design services, they had $7,300. This is Fryer. And then they had specs, contract manual coordination, assistant talent bidding, and then the scope reviews and contract award. But that's sort of what CES is doing. So I'm not really sure if it's in addition to, or if they think they're doing more than they want to. So as far as design, is 7,300 for the the specs. I mean, they're going to have to do some specs, obviously, but it almost looked like they were stepping in in a big way. Maybe something they were taking the lead. So I was talking to Derek at CES, and maybe a call kind of hash this out with Fryer at CES. Maybe. But anyway,
I think,
yeah.
Just my personal opinion here is, I think CES should be the lead. It's mostly a mechanical job.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think they wanted to be for the last meeting, right?
they say
Kind
that.
of sidestepping it.
No, I think what they didn't want to do was take Fryer as a sub. That was, what did you hear at the last meeting?
Kind of that same thing. I mean, if they don't want to take it as a stub.
You're gonna have them do it.
Because I think we kind of mark on Fryer to oversee. So then they're really not.
Oh, okay. So you're actually envisioning Fryer as being the lead in putting the packages together.
Well, I think that's what they're quoting,
Yeah.
the way I read it. So, and I think actually for architectural, it's very minimal. We got a ceiling and some other stuff.
Yeah.
Enclosure, and that's it, architecturally speaking. I think the mechanical is much larger than the architectural piece, so.
So I could go back. I thought that CES actually had in their scope. Plans and specs, okay, so plans and specs.
Oh, they're all different.
Contract documents.
I got rid of it.
So the owner can present them to contractors for bidding purposes. That's maybe what Jim was talking about. They were to,
So for this conversation right now, we're just talking about wood.
yeah,
It's just limited to that.
right. I guess you're right, yeah, they would do the contract documents and supply some bid services, but it didn't look like it was as extensive as Fryer. Well, their cost for bid services is 1,400, and Fryer's is like 5,800. So, and I did ask Fryer to go back to see, I mean, I think they work together on a number of projects,
I'm
so,
sure they have.
yeah. So now I understand why the fee and the scope is such. Yes. Okay,
But I think it's a conversation
yeah,
with them. I'd like to, again, because it's so heavily mechanical, it doesn't make a lot of sense that the architect could lead large mechanical. job.
It's almost conjunct, just
We are in both,
collaborate.
we are in both, but all we're really hiring Fryer for is not for all those additional services. We're just hiring to design the enclosure and the ceilings.
And here he's talking about giving the bid documents with meetings.
right.
We really need that. Huh?
Well, and for Willard, he said previously completed for the meetings, because they already did this. They
Yeah.
already know the deal. They've already, actually, they've probably already done the work. Before, so they're updating the design. But then what does, when I was looking at this, it's like, well, it looks like they're taking the lead in the specs and the bidding, putting the whole thing together and assisting us with actually reviewing it, issuing addenda, and also.
Or the works.
Do we have any
Yeah.
legacy costs from prior services that we have to pay them for? Did they do something? You just said that they did some stuff in the past for Willard. Yeah, exactly.
Well, they did. What previously completed is here.
And we pay them for it already or not?
I believe they're all full. I think they're fully paid. But I'll check. I'm sure Doug closed out everything.
I just don't want us to get in a pay forward position. That if you work in the past, they're anticipating this to cover work we did in the past.
Okay.
So that's a question I'm asking. Just make sure that we're clean with it.
It'll be on the agreement, right, the start date.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. This came into us after the fact, and it started.
Yeah. So actually, what
So ask them if they've incurred any costs.
Yeah.
To this point.
What's the total cost for Willard to take? Because the other ones, we know they haven't done it.
What's the fee for Willard versus the other ones?
it's
At least
Well, it's third-
Griswold and Willard, look at them.
yeah. Well,
Those comparable versus.
those two are 19,900, and this is 13,100. So they're deducting $6,800 worth of upfront, kind of getting the scope worked out, cost estimates, detailing, design coordination. So, which they've already done because Willard was already basically prepared. I don't actually know what they did for Willard. I'm gonna check that out. It's up.
They said all I heard from Willard was some ceiling height issues. Right, from the enclosure.
Yeah.
That's all I'm aware of. There could be more, but that's all I'm aware of.
So it does say here previously completed.
Right. It's 0.
Well, I guess the point we want to push as fast as we can, right, for Willard it's going. What's that?
Right now, it's all front.
I know. If you get the third, right. Just gotta get on the street. It's not good to figure out. What do you gentlemen think for this expedite Willard?
Definitely expedite Willard, right? This thing's CBS.
Oh, it's under. You're supposed to get a waiver, right?
Yeah, well, under
Council?
10, we get it from a Roche, over 10, we go to the town council.
So we're at, for Willard, we're at 12, 13,
13,100.
For. Who's up for Friar?
That's Fryer.
Fire.
And
What do we
that,
have?
but that assumes that they take the lead in the whole pushing the stuff out in the street.
Specifications, contract,
Yeah.
coordination, upfront documents, project bidding, agenda, scope, reviews, contract award, clerk of work,
If they,
be
if they didn't,
negotiated under separate agreement.
they didn't do it anyhow, who'll be doing that?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is CES probably doesn't have anything in their budget for contract administration too, so they're probably gonna be.
Well, they know they do.
Oh, they do?
CES, yeah, CES does. They have, where is this one? They actually have a fair amount of money in that. 11,600 extra contract. For work. Yeah,
Bid services.
I mean, we could take there with Marissa, the purchasing agent, we could do the upfront portion, put the CES package in there, but Fryer, you have to plug the Fryer stuff in there too.
Why don't we just hire Fire to do the site-related design services? That'd be the inside and outside, right?
For Willard,
Let's see how it goes. $7,300.
and you get all that to CS one time.
And let's see.
We already have that contract approved, right?
Oh, yeah, this is already done, that's on deal.
Because this already says administration and
So,
services.
so then this would be under the budget amount,
Right,
right? So a Roche can approve it.
so we could move forward.
Yeah, let's do that.
And then if we have to, we spend a few hours to get some stuff done and then we go different
No
to the
matter,
next one.
no matter who does it, it's still gotta go through the town purchasing anyways.
Yeah, but we can award it.
Yeah.
Right,
Well, if
You
it
can-
comes to it,
We can move forward, get a contract ready.
I think the key is to get it expedited.
Mhm.
And let's get it going, so.
What do you think, Tom?
Maybe you can hear us, but you can't talk.
I don't have any.
could you call into one of our phones and do you want to do that? Do you want to do that?
I think it's.
I'm
a good
just
idea.
offering an option for you.
I think it's a really good idea to use your phone.
My phone?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Please, that's your number.
Actually, do I have his number? Just called him today. Lisa, you have his number, right? Actually, I might have it. Oh, I do. Okay.
You were just gonna use Fryer for how much?
Yeah.
7,000?
Well, we're gonna ask Tom too.
Would you just tell me what you just said? though? Fryer for,
I gotta turn off the speakers.
It- Turn off speaker.
Just tell me to get offline.
Oh, Tom, if you could turn off your computer speaker, that would help. Turn off your computer speaker. We're getting a reverb.
Just shut off Zoom.
Shut off Zoom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you can
All right.
still hear us, right?
Still here? You must be. We hear an echo.
It's coming through our system.
Is it coming through ours?
Yep.
yeah, mute that,
Ah,
just
Yeah, and
Just end.
better.
Better, perfect.
I tried both ways, I went in and out of the meeting.
We're getting very bored because we couldn't hear you talk.
Internal computer, the computer that Zoom is on, there's no audio anywhere. I can hear you guys fine.
It put a lot of pressure on us having to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I feel kind of nice looking down, I feel like I'm in, down and Mr. Smith goes to Washington. I'm just wondering who's Jimmy Stewart.
You got the God's eye going.
Yeah,
So what do you think on the,
so what was the question?
Did you hear any of our conversation, Tom?
Yeah, most of it. Actually, it's much better on the telephone than it is through that also. You can get coupled that would go in and out and in and out. The phone is fine. So I'll stay on the phone.
okay,
So what we were suggesting is to take Willard's proposal from Fryer and just take their site-related design services. It appears that in CES's number, we have bid documents, and Mike can confirm that,
Construction services.
construction services. So we won't pull that in from Fryer. That'll keep us under a $10,000 mark. We can move forward. If we have to take some additional services,
We might have to, yeah.
we'll just pull them up as we need them here. We've got a menu, so
Yeah,
That
I
way-
think,
that way we can get it going.
yeah, I agree. So I'm fine with that.
Okay, so I think maybe what I should do is go back to them and have them maybe specify what they're gonna provide for related design services, and also make sure we get the specs and the drawings that we could put as a bid package at a minimum in that number, and would obviously keep it under 10 grand.
And that
I
prior
won't tell
work,
them that, but you know,
and prior work is,
they're already closed out. I mean, they've already done, they know what CES needs. So they just have to update the drawings and the specs so that we can put it into a package.
Will that way of doing it be okay with potential bidders who want to do the work?
Yeah, it doesn't affect them.
Does it? Okay.
No.
it's just a matter of who bundles it.
But it's really,
Yeah, yeah, no, I get it. Just checking,
the forward-looking part is really going through the town anyways.
right?
You know, we're always gonna see everything's gonna go through the town bidding office.
Oh, you mean the upfront stuff?
Yeah.
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 So,
Okay.
Okay, everybody agree with that? Michael, get that adjusted.
you wanna
So
make a motion here?
feedback okay on the vote, I said okay, but I don't know if anybody heard me.
Well, I think,
yeah, so
good, Jim.
So I make a motion that we hire Fryer for related design services, both inside and outside of the building, to prepare plans and specs to be added to CES's plans. And they can, Mike's gonna check on a couple of things. They should probably get the, whatever agreement they want in front of us, so we can approve it at the next meeting. But they,
And CES will be the lead.
There a second?
And this is only for Willard School.
I'll second.
Got a first and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, anybody in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion approved. We also have an invoice from CES for $4,200. This is related to the Willis School. This would be the, I guess, the closeout completion of the design work. We want to make a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. All opposed? Approved.
Okay, I could give you just a little update on the other two schools.
Sure.
CES actually was in Hubbard last week, and they were able to get drawings for both Hubbard and Griswold, both from Doug and from our office. So it sounds like they have enough stuff, CES, to continue on. And I asked them to be present at the next meeting, so they give sort of an update on where everything is. Willard and Hubbard and Griswold,
Okay.
that's CES. We did get also proposals from Fryer on the other two schools, but it sounds like we're holding off right now, which makes sense to me. So.
just ask CES if they think there's any issues with what, we're just gonna have Fryer prepare some plans and hand
Right.
them over.
Right. I think, and actually, Derek from CES said, he said we should probably, maybe we can talk through this with Fryer. So I think that's probably a good idea because they've worked together before and just said, listen, all we need from you are the stuff we can put together into a package. We don't need you to go through and with the addenda. I mean, we'll probably need their help. So maybe we'll put a little, I think the proposal should actually, if we can keep under the 10 and have enough cushion where we can, if we
Yeah,
have
some
to,
stuff.
like, oh, they're talking about the enclosure for the chiller. I don't know how to respond to that, so.
Balancing and all that since CES is in the plans, right, that I want to make, so CES's plans and specs should include all the stuff to get their system up, commissioned, running, etc.
Okay.
The architect's not gonna do that.
No, I know that, yeah. I think that could be in there.
It should be
I
included.
think it's
Training
in-
manuals, blah, blah, blah. I want to imagine it is, we'll all have to take a look at it. I'm just thinking out loud again.
Yeah, okay. Is that typically part of CA, construction admin, or is it an extra for the NEP stuff?
That'll be something that we'll have to contract.
Oh, okay. So, I guess I'm asking, do you want me to check and see if it's in their scope now?
Maybe we should have somebody bid it, when we're bidding. So we're gonna have a few
Oh,
packages, right?
right, okay. So you want that in the
Yeah, I
number?
think we should
Okay.
probably. Testing and balancing, what else?
Have we tested on inspection? All that, I think all that's in their number, isn't it, all their construction services?
Inspection, yes, but not necessarily testing and balance. It might be.
Should be,
For the other two schools, it's the same exact.
It would sum up, usually sum up the testing and balance.
HVAC, plans and specs. We will verify the operation of the existing is, okay, that's existing, okay? Plans and specs.
Already, well, you're right.
Oh, that was probably in there, if it is in there.
So, yeah, they're doing all the stuff the architect would do. Their punch list, services not included. Electrical service upgrade. They will not do that. Plumbing. There's a lot of stuff they're not providing.
Yeah, they do have a nice list of exceptions.
Ideally, there shouldn't be much of that.
But there's some fire protection heads to move. Prepare documentation for any energy efficiency rebates or incentives.
Is there anybody that the town currently works with, any energy rebates or anything?
I think Doug has some, he's in 2 or 3 different programs, I think.
Yeah, we should just have to look at
They
that.
will not provide testing, adjusting, and balancing services.
Okay, so that's
They
excluded.
will not provide commissioning services. They will not provide order of magnitude construction cost estimate for the work. So. I guess you take the scope of services not included
And put it,
in Friars.
I don't know. I mean,
well,
I don't know how much of that, I mean,
testing.
Fire's not gonna do the testing and balancing anyway, it's gonna be a third
But
party.
write a spec, give us a spec for
Oh, okay, I get it, all right. So you're saying,
the documents.
we wanna get from them enough
Am I
information
right?
for the bidder. Yeah,
Right.
You should have a
Okay.
general electric spec, general fire protection. Security, we just call the security company.
Is there any testing you have to go from as far as a contamination? Or would like go there with?
Environmental's not included in
Yeah.
CES's.
I'd have to look at HPM for any of it before, once the plans are done, then I'll look at what's to be touched. Whether it's ceiling tile, whether it's, ripping out dumping
Forest Service is not included. And just ask fire which ones they're gonna
Provide.
okay,
Also, I mean,
provide the specs or the documentation for it.
also, I mean, you have to, SCS, okay, look at the plans, okay, what you're gonna, do we need plumbing? Are we interfering in anything? Do we touch anything? Because if there's a whole bunch of, by others,
yeah,
yeah, okay, we need some services, but
They say they're not including that service. Is it addressed in their documents?
yeah.
Gotta call that stuff out if they have a conflict.
So you sent us all their stuff today?
the 3 fire proposals and also the drawings for Willard, and the specs for Willard, yeah.
Okay.
So in fact, I should take a look through that and see if they actually provided something they might not have,
And that was been around before that contract.
yeah. Well, this one is for Griswold. I think that Willard is identical, if I recall correctly. I think
Probably
all
is.
3 were the same.
Okay.
So I gotta do some homework here.
Okay, all set?
I'm all set.
Okay, I'm 7, high school closeout.
Right, the letter you were looking for, I sent that to Brian Skowski, waiting to hear back from him. I know a lot of that stuff was not signed.
Oh,
I do think there was a signed letter that Brian sent out for closing the job that went to
Board of Ed.
Board of
With
Ed.
that,
So I sent him, asked him for a copy of it. He's pretty good. I'm sure.
who, Brian?
Brian Skowski.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Didn't they
great.
approve them? Did they board?
Yeah, but Doug, and in fact, the board of it probably already has, they already had the letter, but Doug was saying, well, he goes, because they were talking, anyway, let's step back. Tom Smith is coming in, I didn't talk to him, I left some voicemail messages, and then he ended up calling Kevin, Jeff, Doug, and Tom, and they emailed Tom Reed. So he's coming in next Thursday and Friday to sit down with Jeff, because Jeff is the only one besides the superintendent, Brian, who can go into the state system and do the, I guess, closeout package, and then, which will start the audit clock, I guess, on the state level. So Tom Smith actually offered, I guess, and this is all secondhand from Doug, to come in and do it at no charge. But I said, have him track his hours, because as Tom even said to me earlier today, like, we have money, there's money in there, and he should be paid, but he's fully retired. So, but he's gonna sit down with Jeff and Doug and get that rolling, and I guess if they have all the documentation, they can just send in some kind of checklist to the state. And then, Tom, what did Tom Smith send you?
Well, he was amazed that, actually, the first thing he sent to me was something totally unrelated. He said, when the heck are you guys gonna finally close out the school? And I sent it back and said, funny you should ask. And I explained to him what happened. So we just emailed, who was going to be the main point people in all of this, so that we could streamline the going back and forth. And I think that's what led to he's coming in Thursday and Friday to sit down with Brian, Jeff, and everybody else to as to what their responsibilities are. So that is in a nutshell what went on during the last week or so.
I don't think Brian will be in that room. I think it'll be Jeff and Doug.
Yeah,
And Thomas Smith.
I'm sure it's gonna be Jeff doing all the work.
Yeah.
And then
John
whatever
Richards is working for
the
Jeff.
PVC or the town has to supply Jeff, he'll just be available to give him whatever he needs. My guess is, based on our conversations with Tom, 4 years ago, is that Doug Solik will be doing some work as well. So it's gonna be more John and Jeff giving the information or accessing the state's program and providing the information that way. And I don't know whether Tom will have to review it. I guess he'll make a comment when he talks to those guys.
Yeah, and probably Kevin Delaney too. He probably has
Yeah,
some
Kevin,
stuff.
but I think my own opinion is less than Kevin less. He'll be a little more.
Richards, and you guys all know.
I don't think he'll spend it.
It'll be Richards.
Doug
Yeah, he'll take care of the whole
Jeff
thing.
will talk.
And he knows Tom Smith, so
Yeah,
you just really need John Richards and Tom Smith together and they'll get through it quickly. No, really, I mean,
What's
He
in it?
will.
Yeah.
I know. Could go just,
well, maybe not quickly, but it certainly will be.
It'll-
Well, as efficiently as possible.
It'll get done.
Yeah,
It'll get done.
so that's all I know. And that's,
I think it's a good meeting for the chair to sit in on.
oh.
Yeah, the connection just said the chair appoints Tom Lombardo as.
There's no abduction of power here.
No, I'm
You can't abdicate your power to me. No, it doesn't work like
I'll be
that.
happy to go next Thursday and just, listen in, but I'm sure I'm gonna have nothing to add.
Hmm.
All I'm gonna do is go, hey Doug, do you have that? Hey Kevin, do you have that? Or hey Jeff, do you have that? Because Mike said it right, nobody has access to that. The state's board, except for, the big we had cooked on,
Right.
they're the only ones.
Okay. This stuff from the high school. Moving on, physical services complex, Wash Bay.
Wash Bay, the RFP was issued end of June. We're gonna have a pre-bid, non-mandatory meeting on July 22nd. Bids are due August 19th. And there was a little glitch with one addendum we issued. I set up another, I tried to add Rocco to the PVC distribution list. I had created a PVC list of just him. So I had an addendum that I was a draft and I sent it around. I said, if I don't hear anything from you guys by Thursday, I'm gonna issue it. And then I checked it today. I'm like, why didn't anyone respond? Anyway, so I'll send it to you guys next meeting, but it was pretty, there was nothing controversial in the addenda that we issued. It was more about clarifying a few things. But we have been getting questions from the rep for Hydrochem, which is the system that they have in Norwich, which we sort of were gearing our RFP towards in the first
Right.
go around. And he's like, well, why is there no spec? And, he's basically, why is all the proprietary stuff taken out? I tried
It
to.
cost us too much money.
Well,
Your price
yeah,
was
but
so
it
high.
kind of was restricted, and I look back and I'm like, wow, this is really a little, we said it was non-proprietary and had, language in there to that effect, but it really was, sort of leading people down that road. So now we have two other manufacturers in there. So he didn't like the first response of the addenda saying that we basically have three things bidders can, because he's saying that the system should dictate the building size. The building can, all these systems are meant,
It's
you know,
bullshit.
no, he's basically, he's trying to beat the drum to have us put more specificity in that, but, lead them towards him. But anyway, so I think I'm gonna just put together a little bit more of an outline spec and an addenda. But it will be non-restrictive, just to answer his questions. So that's where it stands right now. We got a couple of questions about budget. We're just blowing that off because we took the number out and we have the deducts in there. So if we're 200,000 high and $200,000 is what they take out from the wash bay. One other thing that came up talking to these two other reps is, and all three of the reps said the same thing. If you get a design build firm, they'll mark up the wash bay system by 30 to 200%. And they said you can go actually, if you source it, the town sources it directly, which some municipalities have done, you're gonna save money. So the deduct might actually save money in the long run if we have to go that. So,
And this is probably too late, so every, oh, we
well,
talked about
nothing's
this.
too late because we can
We
issue
talked
an
about
addendum.
all the water, everything in place, so it's plug and.
Right, yes, yes. And that's in there, it's almost like the building and the utility should be run to the point where you could put the system in. Well, you have to do some extra work, yeah, we're not gonna run pipes across the ceiling, you know, but have them there.
It's
The
just not
electric,
empty it to the room.
yeah, the electric service will have to be upgraded. The gas service somehow will have to be, you know, new meter, whatever. So yeah, you're gonna have the box so that when you have to put the smaller box inside it, it's, you can plug it and play. You know, and that should be shown on the drawings.
And I
Yeah,
think they'll get you
make
to
that.
the budget that they wanted.
We'll see.
So you pull the equipment out, the town buys the equipment direct.
Yeah.
I think you're there.
So that's where things stand with the Wash Bay RFP. It's out on the street again. We gave them 2 months. We're gonna have a non-mandatory pre-bid through 2 other manufacturers in there.
You should call all 3 of those guys and ask them for a quote.
Direct.
Okay, I've already gotten 2 quotes before, but,
Tell them the town may buy the equipment direct
right,
and install it themselves either later this year or after the building's up.
Yeah.
Outside of construction, give me your best number.
Well, that's a question, you want to send an addendum that says that.
Yeah, or
Well,
just,
but I don't know, if I like his idea, because if you get it, then you have an understanding what the deduct change order could be or should be.
Well,
Well, the addendum, what I'm saying would be just for the equipment only.
yeah, just,
You know, and then the contractor, you can put the language in for the bidders, they have to coordinate with
the equipment.
the equipment
suppliers.
to provide power, air, whatever it needs, chemical connections.
Because then we could choose the equipment coming in later down the road, ask them how long will hold the price.
yeah.
Right.
Well, I did get quotes before from all 3 of those firms. Hydrochem and I think Interclean were down around the $150,000 range. The 3rd firm, I think it was Westmatic, came in way, but I was asking for budget numbers, but 2 of them gave me actually like, you know, pretty like a
Systems,
spec,
yeah.
a system, and it all lined out. And he just gave me a budget number, and then he was the guy when I went back to, you know, why is it so high? He goes, oh, I can work, he had movable, you know, like things that were moving all over the place, and they had, I went on their website, they have rollers, they have all kinds of stuff, they have squeegees that go down buses, you know, they have all kinds of high-end, you know, attachments.
I just put it all in there for you in case you wanted it.
Well, he didn't give me a list, he didn't give me a shopping list, he just gave a number, you know?
I think I would probably, you guys, just an opinion, but I think I would put it out as an addendum that the town will be purchasing the equipment, provides the pricing directly to the town on all equipment. And then we could assign it later if we wanted to.
Yeah,
And
but
put it in
then you're almost like speaking to 2 groups, aren't you? Because you're looking
You
at the dime, yeah.
You are. But
Oh, I get it. So you're almost then inviting the manufacturers
not-
to put in prices
Correct.
independent of the building.
correct.
Oh,
And then what we're doing then is we're avoiding any markup on it. 'cause
yeah.
you're buying
No, I got
direct.
it. I got
And
it.
then we can.
Everybody's
assign
gonna
it
get
to
the best number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The town will get the best number, contractors will get the best
The
number.
only thing you're gonna have to do before you award to anyone is you gotta sit them all in a room and understand where all the gaps are. And someone's gotta pick up the gaps. You know what I mean? That's the
Yeah.
only part that I would say, and you can save it till then, you could write it in their contracts that they own all the coordination with the vendor, providing the hookups as required by the vendor, you know, and list it that way, in the specifications. But again, once you take the numbers, then you can sit down and talk to them, work it out in a room, so there's no surprises.
No, I got it. Because there would be gaps.
Oh, of course it would.
You have box A, box B.
You know, I didn't carry a contractor for this, but I need one over here, you know,
Yeah.
it just gets crazy, so.
All right,
Again,
addenda asking for just the wash bay system prices. Independent of the design build, the building itself.
Correct.
Right, okay.
The building will be a standalone building with all electrical, mechanical, fire protection as required by the code. But the equipment for the bay wash will be provided by others, to provide a separate price to the town. We put in there, the bid will not be extended, you know, all the usual language, unless otherwise noted. And I think that'll help get the numbers, like I said, where they need to be.
We'll get it down to half. Yeah.
The building will be $500,000. They won't have 200,000.
A building will come in less.
May.
It's only
Really?
$300,000 building.
Yeah, the biggest issue is just the underground connection for stuff. What you find,
Just need somebody hungry.
we found a dump just in here.
Okay,
Just do GPR work ahead of time.
anybody have anything else they want to bring to the table?
Make a motion, we
Okay, second,
Second.
all in favor? Go
When
ahead.
is it, please?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock,
Wow,
right on the button.
right on the button.
1 hour minutes. A lot of comments.
I'm sorry, the record still stands.
No one's ever gonna beat that record.
That was a farce.
You need one
When
every
it's,
generation.
Panel set up to look into that,
You're gonna commission a study?
yes, just like the federal government, study everything.
You should do a special
Still
meeting.
recording.
Shut us off. You're slow.
And
And it's right there.
I was recording.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.